What if you're not lost? What if you've been running from the one thing that could change everything for you? I think deep down you know exactly what I'm talking about. A decision, a conversation, a calling that keeps popping up in your mind. It's a difficult one you've been avoiding, and most of the time we know exactly what we need to do. But we are scared of where the path might actually lead. And what I found is that the life you want is often hiding behind the fear you refuse to face. For years I thought that fear was a problem. I wanted to get rid of it. I saw it as a stop sign, proof I wasn't ready yet. I thought I need more time, I need more research and more confidence before I could start something like a YouTube channel, for example. But that couldn't be further from the truth. Fear means that something needs your attention, that something important is at stake. I mean, you don't feel fear when you are sitting on the couch watching Netflix. You feel it right at the edge of your abilities. You feel it while diving headfirst into discomfort. So fear isn't your enemy, it's your compass. The needle points you towards growth. It's the friction between who you are and who you are becoming, basically. The problem is that the longer you avoid facing it, the more it grows into the background. And Carl Jung said it best. Until you make the unconscious conscious, it will direct your life and you will call it fate. Avoiding fear doesn't make it disappear, it feeds it. It starts shaping your thoughts and your habits, your identity. You either face it or it silently makes you go down a negative spiral until you are basically forced to listen because you can't take it anymore and the things can't get any worse. There's another quote that changed how I see this. Easy choices, hard life. Hard choices, easy life. Let's say you are afraid of sharing your work online. The easy choice is to numb out, to scroll, to overthink, to delay and find excuses. It feels good now, but you are paying with purpose. You basically trade long-term meaning for short-term comfort. And the worst part of it all is that numbing out only works to a certain degree. The urgency most likely keeps humming in the back of your mind and you can't really forget about it anyway. And the hard choice, on the other hand, is uploading your work anyway. Even if you absolutely hate everything about it. The more you do it, the more your confidence builds. Life is not getting easier, but you suddenly realize that you can handle these hard things. You've probably felt this already when you went to the gym early in the morning, for example. After that, making calls, showing up for your work, school, and spending time on your side hustle feels like a breeze. You have essentially proven to yourself that you are capable of doing way harder things. And then something wants to keep the streak going. Something in you wants to keep winning. And that feels good. Seneca said, we suffer more in imagination than in reality. Fear is always mental first. You imagine all the things standing in your way and how hard it will be. But the moment you actually get into the situation, you just end up doing it. You adapt because that's the only way out. You convince yourself that you are capable of doing it, even though it might be a lie. If necessary, you will adapt to anything. And knowing this boosted my confidence through the roof because you can just expose yourself to something and it somehow ends up working. That doesn't mean you have to struggle and fight to overcome your fear. Become curious about it. I came back to it in peace once I was out of the immediate situation of a presentation, for example. And instead of degrading it and pretending like it doesn't exist because I'm so strong and I don't want to admit it, I started asking questions without judging it in any way. And what I found is that the fear you feel is there to protect you. It is here to help, essentially. Imagine your fear as this little kid who doesn't know any better than to fight for your attention. It wants to feel safe, it wants to feel comforted, it wants to feel understood. And most importantly, it wants to help to preserve your identity, the thing you've built yourself here, the ego. And you can show gratitude for this almost pure and innocent intention. Yet, your intellect should know better, and it actually does. Fear evolved to keep our bodies alive, but today most of our fears aren't about physical survival anymore. They are about ego survival. That's why it feels so intense. Your old self doesn't want to give up comfort. Your old self doesn't want to die, essentially. But that's the price for growth and purpose. Now, there are two ways to work with fear, although they end up doing the same thing. The first one is to just bite the bullet. Fear is essentially incomplete information. The only way to complete the loop is to do the thing again and again and again until your brain learns that you can handle it. Start small, let direct experience build up proof and evidence in your body that you are capable of doing it. I mean, if you are afraid to post online, for example, just start writing a simple tweet. And the second one would be to make fear visible. Instead of writing down your goals, write down your fears. And I mean, really write them down in a kind of list. And then ask yourself, what am I most afraid of right now? How is that fear shaping my behavior, and how does it show up in my body? Do I have sweaty palms, a racing heart? And what's the worst thing that could happen, and how would I deal with it anyway? What's this fear trying to protect me from? And why might I be still grateful for it? I used to be terrified of showing my face on camera, for example. So my fear protected me from making cringy videos like that one by convincing me to stick to slides, animation, or B-roll instead. The longer I avoided it, the more impossible it started to feel. It wasn't just a fear anymore, it was becoming a belief. But it kept nagging me because deep down I always knew that hiding was costing me connection. So I started small, adding just a few seconds of talking head here and there, and over time something actually started shifting. Now, talking to the camera is one of my most favorite parts of the entire process. What I want to say with that is that you should dive deep into those questions and find your fears and really list them out in a document. Contemplate them, really sit with them, try to ask them questions, be curious, and then go do something that scares you every single day. It doesn't matter how small, because the confidence I have now wasn't something I was born with. It's something I built by doing it anyway, by doing it although I was afraid. And in the end, you can also ask yourself if that fear really deserved the power you gave it. Most of the time, it is just a sensation, and even one that disappears once you start acting. So start outsmarting it, one action at a time. Another Seneca quote is, "He who fears he will suffer already suffers because he fears." Well, and let that sink in. Fear is going to cost you either way. So the question isn't, should I face it? The question is, will you let it define you, or will you let it refine you? Because purpose is not hidden in the next YouTube video. It lives in the very thing that you keep avoiding. There are so many stories of trauma turning into purpose. I mean, just think about the kid who lost a relative and became a doctor, or the addict who ends up dedicating their entire life to recovering others. That's nothing that happens accidentally. They deeply emphasize with people going through the similar struggles to them. It provides deep meaning to them. And I mean, search for examples in your own life here. You can most likely deeply relate and have deep conversations with someone who is struggling in the same way you struggle. That's something that's uniting humans. And those people develop the skill to solve the problem for themselves before they go on and help others to do the same thing. And I mean, this can even turn into a career as well. And there you have it. There you have it, your ikigai or your purpose. All through facing a small fear today and recognizing a pattern within yourself. And recognizing that other people feel the same. You are not alone. And you already know what it is. That's the thing, you already know what it is. You're just afraid to face reality. So stop waiting to feel ready. Stop telling yourself you're lost, because you are not. I'm pretty sure you are not lost. You exactly know the next thing that you are supposed to do right now. But you keep procrastinating it. You are just afraid to become who you were always meant to be. And that's okay, no one is perfect and I'm still doing it. We are all doing it. But just don't let the fear be the reason you never meet the person you were supposed to be. That is all I want to say here. If this helped you in any way, this new perspective, then let me know in the comments. Maybe subscribe and leave a like. Yes. Smile, and I kiss your heart.